A lot of women pay attention to men's bodies. Your body game has a massive impact on your success with girls. And I've got an amazing story from a couple weeks ago when I was at the gym to illustrate this in the opposite perspective of me finding a girl attractive who had amazing body game. So I was in the gym and I saw this girl and her face wasn't too amazing. Like there was nothing wrong with it. She wasn't ugly by any means, but it wasn't anything like top tier, like I need to go talk to this girl instantly. But when I looked at her body, it was genuinely 10 out of 10. Like specifically her ass and her legs. You could tell that she'd been training for so long, her ass was built. It was one of those muscle butts though. Like you could tell that it was just firm. And that is my thing. Like I'm not a fan of just like a fat cellulite ass. That's not really what I'm into. I like when there's some substance to the ass. So I see that and I'm like, damn, that is attractive. And then her legs were solid too. It wasn't like overdeveloped by any means. It was very perfectly built in terms of proportions and all that stuff. And this was making me so much more attracted to her, where if she just say like was a twig, she had no muscle at all, I would kind of disqualify her and not find her that attractive. But with the body that she built, I was getting pretty turned on by her, and I was finding her more and more attractive. So I was like, damn, this girl is actually really attractive. Even though her face isn't perfect, her body increased her attractiveness so much. And to tie this story into this video and how this is relevant, what I believe is that most men have an attractive enough face. Like with girls, there's a pretty big discrepancy. There's some girls who are pretty ugly and that's kind of what they're dealt. And there's some girls who are super attractive and their life is amazing. And most guys kind of fall in a spectrum. Most guys have an attractive enough face. There's very few guys who I would say are on that like bottom level of like, you know, their face is just not attractive at all and they can't have any success no matter what they do. That's usually not the case. Most guys have an attractive enough face where if they built the body, it would make them 10 times more attractive. So that's the whole lesson of me finding that girl attractive and her body game and how it impacted me, and how I believe that as a man, most of you have a good enough face that if you built an attractive body, you would see your potential partners and get how many times you can get your foot in the door with girls go up 10x. Genuinely, it's that powerful. So if you're fat right now, your number one goal to have a great life should be getting into fantastic shape. And if you're skinny like I was when I was younger, your number one goal should be to pack on as much mass as possible and stay lean. That is going to make the biggest difference for you in this life, especially when it comes to dating. And for that reason, I built you an aesthetic body transformation guide, giving you everything you need to do to build an aesthetic body that is completely for free. It's the first link in the description below. I want to go into what building the aesthetic body will actually do for you now, besides the fact that it's going to get you more options. So the first thing that it's going to do, if you build your body the right way, you will build a V-taper where your shoulders and your back are wider than your waist. It creates that triangle. That is the most attractive thing to a woman. What it signifies is so many different things in terms of masculinity, high testosterone. It shows that you're a great potential mate for her to reproduce with on the biological level. And obviously it's just good looking, and that's why it's good looking. Just as the hourglass kind of figure on a girl is good looking to us, the V-taper is good looking to girls. This is what they look for if you want to build your body. That is your goal. That's what you should be aiming for. This is going to make you as attractive as possible. So that's the first thing that I want to touch on, is what you want to really accomplish is building that. And how you build it is really prioritizing your shoulders and your back, specifically your lats. Your lats make your back wide and your shoulders get pushed out. And when you have a lot of mass on your shoulders, then you look really wide and big. And that is kind of the goal that you're aiming for. One thing I started doing recently is prioritizing shoulders on my push days above chest. I always used to love bench press and prioritizing my chest, and my chest has been a little overdeveloped and I really need to bring up my shoulders. So one piece of advice I'll give you is really try and focus on shoulders above chest, because it's going to make such a bigger impact. Great shoulders are 10 times more attractive than a great chest. That's just how it is. I don't make the rules. So those are the muscles you're really gonna wanna work on. And then on top of that, it comes down to being lean. So when you are lean with the V-taper, that's the most attractive look that you can have. And this is gonna allow girls to really find you attractive. The amount of times I have girls squeeze my shoulder, they'll rub my chest and shoulder, or they'll feel like my back and like kind of squeeze my lat a little bit. Girls really love muscle. I promise you, it is a huge factor in your ability to date really, really attractive girls is how much muscle you have within the natural limit. Because if you're a skinny twig, it's not going to go too well for you. And if you're obese, it's also not going to go too well for you. So you really want to find that happy medium of building muscle and staying lean. The next thing that this does for you, which is extremely powerful, is the mental health benefits you receive from training consistently. This is going to do so much more for you than anyone else, but the thing is, everyone else is going to notice how you're the best version of yourself physically and mentally, and training is one of the best ways to elevate yourself. There's nothing else that quite compares to being in the gym, pushing some heavy weight, feeling amazing, walking around with a pump, and just being the most confident version of yourself. And this will carry over into your daily life, and the more you do it, the more it compounds. So every single day when I train, after that, I'm a little bit better and it sticks with me every single day. So pretend for whatever reason, I didn't go to the gym for a month. I would start to feel worse and worse and worse about myself. But every single day that I go to the gym, it starts building and building and building. And this is what people notice. This is why people listen to me on cameras, because I speak with such conviction, because I am the best version of myself physically, mentally. I've built so much momentum and I've stacked so many wins across the board in my life, and the gym is one of the number one areas that you can focus on that's going to really allow you to build all those wins, stack that momentum, and have great mental health. And this goes into another point, which is that the internal confidence you build from the gym, no one can take away from you, and it is constantly on display. So you have this most confident version of yourself that is just being interpreted by the world without you having to speak a word. So let's just bring up an example. Say I was dead broke, or I had $10 million in the bank, but I was in great shape. If I go up to a girl with just shorts on, how I'm now on the beach, I go up and talk to a girl. She doesn't know whether I have $0 in the bank or 10 million, but what she can see is that I'm in great physical shape. And this is what's allowed me to have so much success when I cold approach girls, specifically at the beach with the physique aspect, is they see my physique. It's the number one thing they pick up on. Whether I had $0 or 10 million, they have no clue. Unless I vocalize it, which is not gonna work out. Girls don't care about your money. They don't wanna hear you brag. They really don't give a shit. You have this cool thing which is constantly on display, which is your physique, your body, which no one can take away from you and no one can give you. You have to just earn it yourself. That's the most powerful thing about this. And this goes into our third point, is what it says about your character. This is so valuable because people's mindsets are one of the most important factors in which will allow me to be friends with someone, to date a girl. And when you have a great physique, it speaks volumes to your character and your mindset as a whole. See, there's a level of discipline, of hard work, of pushing yourself physically and mentally that is required in order to achieve the physique of your dreams, to achieve an aesthetic body that is not for everyone. So there's people who go to the gym. Like, I know someone who used to be a friend of mine who looks like a bag of milk. He says he goes to the gym 5 days a week, and I think he does. But he is a pussy in all other realms. He's not a savage. He doesn't have that mentality. He doesn't push himself hard in the gym. He is 200 pounds, 6'2", and I bench more than him on incline at 5'7", 150 pounds now. But even when I was like 145, I was benching more than him for reps. And he just always goes and does the same weight. That was that bullshit that I did my senior year in high school, was 95 pounds for 8 on incline bench. And I wonder why I wasn't making progress and I was still skinny. And he eats like shit. He doesn't do anything good besides the fact that he shows up to the gym and does a little bit of training. And that's why he looks bad like a bag of milk, because there's nothing to it. So maybe he has a little bit of muscle. Maybe he's not a twig, but he still doesn't look good. He doesn't look aesthetic. It's not the body that girls are awing over. Whereas there's some guys who push themselves extremely hard and they build the body and they sacrifice in the areas they need to sacrifice in. They eat the proper diet. They do everything they need to do to achieve the body. And this is what is recognized. It's the mindset. It's the character development that goes in to being the most attractive version of yourself that is also universally recognized by girls that they find attractive. Because one area which girls do care about that guys don't as much is the character development of the man. See, most guys just want a girl to be attractive. They don't care if she has to work out or if she just has that body naturally. Sure, there's some people, some guys who maybe care a little bit, but in the end of the day, if you just want to get with a girl, you don't really care whether whether she's put in the work for that body or whether she's just gotten gifted. Like one girl in Norway, she had an amazing body, but she didn't work out. And I was like, do you know how much potential you have if you went to the gym? Like, you could build the craziest body. And she just had it easy. So there was no motivation for her to work out. She had a great body. Her face was beautiful. She kind of had it on easy mode. So she didn't really have to put in that extra work. Whereas I think girls also not only notice the body, but they notice the sacrifice, the character development, especially when choosing a longer term partner. This is something that they care about. Someone who can achieve his goals, who can have something that they're aiming for and see it through over a long-term basis. It's a great indicator that you're going to be successful long-term. And it just speaks so much volume to you as a man that girls will recognize. So those are the three things that I really believe in this segment that are super powerful. It's the mental health benefits about you feeling good about yourself, the internal confidence that's always on display for the world to see without you having to say a word, and what it says about your character. Those are the three things on top of the V-taper that you build, which will really, really make you attractive to girls. And this is what girls will really recognize about your physique. And once again, if you want to actually build the aesthetic body, pick up the Aesthetic Body Transformation. It's the first link in the description below, completely free, giving you everything you need to make this transformation possible.